Good evening, everyone. This is the Metaphysical MGTOW Griffin Red. And the name of this video will be called Dream Journals. I decided to talk on this subject um, due to the fact there were a lot of significant dreams that I've had in the past, and I wanted to talk about it because I actually was, reading some articles and things online and some books, and it talks about how you should write down your dreams because a lot of times it's your spirit or your subconscious mind, trying to convey a message to you, especially if you keep having the same dream over and over again. Now, I'm going to share with you this one particular dream that I've been having, that I've kept having for almost 20 years, almost 2 decades. I've always had this same dream. You know, different. It's a lot of times it was different different scenarios or whatnot, but it was always this. The dream always had the same makeup, and what it was I always found myself locked up in jail or whatnot, and I recall whenever every time I would speak to another inmate in there or somebody that was in there, and or talking to a guard or something like that, I was always told, why are you here? You're not supposed to be here. Every single time I had this dream, I was always told I was never supposed to be there. Never. And I'm going to share with you um, a little paragraph that I found that I read in the book called The Forbidden Religion. It's a free ebook that you can read online. I encourage you all to read it and see if it resonates with you. And this this particular thing really resonated with me and really inspired me to do this video. It says, the spirit, formed completely from antimatter, is trapped, chained up, imprisoned in this hell and suffering torment that is impossible for us to imagine. It is one of the cruelest forms of torture there is, being bound to this abominable world of matter, to this created monstrosity which we call the body soul of man. The spirit is shackled against his will and is using each human being to advance his evolution, so that this creator God's plans can be carried out. It is the unbearable agony for the spirit, imprisoned against its will in a world which for it is strange and impure, being used as a disposable object so an insane plan can be accomplished. So I kind of put two and two together, and like I said, I just stumbled across this book. It's The Forbidden Religion, which is it's basically called Primordial Gnosis, and it talks about the spirit being imprisoned in this body and everything like that. And I kind of put two and two together, and I believe that that was my spirit telling me that I'm not supposed to be here. That's why I think the dream about jail is coming from, because it has to be, because I mean, look how many times I've had it. Look how many times I've had that same dream. And every single time I tell you, MGTOW brothers, every time I've had this dream, I was always told I was never supposed to be there. Every single time. And now I'm gonna share with you another dream I had. It was this one was really vivid, and I actually felt it waking up. Um, I recalled I was in a house, and there was these two other guys in there with me or whatnot, and I recall that we walked down to the basement. So the other two guys, I guess they went to the back area of the basement, and I kind of stood near the stairs or whatever, and I was just we're just waiting down there, and I'm thinking, why are we down here, guys? And next thing I know, the two guys that were at the that had went down in the basement with me had actually caught on fire. So I panicked after seeing that, and I remember calling, trying to run upstairs, to flee or whatnot. And they caught up to me, and I guess they either touched me or whatnot. And I remember myself being engulfed in flames, but it wasn't painful or anything. It felt intensely warm and everything. And I remember being on fire, being engulfed in this flame and everything. And I remember leaving the basement, going upstairs, walking throughout the house, and I recall, and I saw the two guys. They were in the kitchen. I guess they were fixing themselves something to eat or whatever. And I remember looking out the window. I lifted up the blinds, looked out the window, and I saw this nice, beautiful lake. And it had like some like a huge countryside and everything like that. And then I remember waking up, and I remember my whole body. Um, it just being, I felt this intense warmth all over my body immediately after waking up from this dream. So I'm gonna I think I'm gonna say that maybe something ignited within my spirit. It talks about the black flame, or some sort of thing, some sort of flame of that nature, wasn't it? And I believe that was activated because I did read in any kind of dream definition, whenever you go to like a basement or something like that, that is usually your subconscious or your soul or spirit or whatever you want to call it. That's usually what that means or whatever. So, I mean, that one really stuck with me. Like I said, it happened in 2012. It was, I'm sure you've heard, a lot of things going on about stuff that's supposed to been happening in 2012 or whatnot. But I actually had that dream in 2012, and it is forever burned in my memory because, and I'm telling you, immediately upon waking up, my entire body felt like it was engulfed in a warm flame. It wasn't. It was hot. So this other dream I had, and I'm gonna share with you um, this book that I ordered. It's a book on black magic that I ordered or whatnot, and it talks about dream work, city of the dead, and it describes the city of the dead. It says when you walk through the door, you find yourself in the street of a very old city. It looks like a scenery from a few centuries ago. The houses are old and neglected, walls are covered with moss, bricks are scattered all around, and the air is thick with the stench of rot. The streets are empty. At the first moment, you cannot see anyone around, then you notice someone in the distance. One person, another, and so on. They walk very slowly like zombies. The atmosphere of decay is all around, and you feel as if you were walking through a strange cemetery. There are bones and skulls of humans and animals lying in the streets. You walk towards a large building that stands out of the other houses and looks like a huge graveyard mausoleum. That's all I'm going to read on that. Now, this particular dream I'm going to tell you about, it happened, like I said, in 2012. And this particular time, I was being led through a house, and I recall it was like another group of people with me. I guess we were going through the house. I guess we were going to stay there overnight or something. I do remember it being a huge house. So as everyone else was going and looking around and everything like that, they kind of just I kind of just wandered off or whatever, and I was stuck by myself. And I remember looking over the corner of my eye, and I saw this demon. It was like what you call an imp or something like that. It was real short or whatever, and it had the sharp teeth and everything like that. And it didn't attack me or anything, but it went towards where the cellar was. It was like the house had like a cellar, and it had like a trap door that would open or whatnot. And the demon was kind of using his body language, saying, "Hey, hey, come down to the cellar." So I don't know for what reason I actually followed this demon down into the cellar. And when I got down to the cellar, I'm looking around for the demon. Looking where the hell is he at? So I turn around, and next thing I know, the demon bolts up the ladder and closes me down in the cellar. and I recall there was like this huge rock weighing the door down, so I couldn't get out. I was literally stuck down in the cellar, and I remember standing quiet, and I heard a lot of screaming and a lot of noise, and it was just a lot of commotion upstairs. Stuff was just I heard stuff crashing, furniture being knocked over, and it was utter silence. And the boulder or the rock that was weighing the trapdoor down actually dissolved into dust, and I was able to go up and I opened the trapdoor, and I remember looking throughout the house, and it was just everybody was dead. Everybody that was in the house with me was dead. It was just dead bodies all over the floor. And I recall going and looking out the window, and I recall the sky and everything outside. It looked really sinister. It just something was just not right about it. So, like I said, I recall going outside, in the streets or whatnot, and I actually saw a lady, and I think it was maybe been her daughter or whatnot, and I remember they had like this zombie like walk, and I remember their faces and everything they were just covered in blood, and I remember running over to him and walking over to him and like, hey, what is this place? What do I don't remember this being here or whatnot. And when they opened their mouth, I couldn't understand what they were saying. And from that point, I remember waking up. But I mean, I've never had a dream like that in my life. And that was just really, really vivid or whatever. So that's why I want to share this with you. And I feel it's really ironic that I just purchased this book and I just read to you that little snippet there about the city of the dead. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that I astral travel to the netherworld or the city of the dead. So this is why I'm saying, MGTOWs or whatever. It's really important that you have a dream journal because your spirit sometimes will talk to you like this. You have to take time out to listen to your spirit and see what it's trying to tell you. Now, these other three dreams that I had involved UFOs, and I'm going to share them with you as well. And I'm going to read to you a snippet from the Gnostic fragments. It says, "The secret in some lies in knowing the extraterrestrial origin of the human spirit and acquire enough wisdom to return to that origin, finally leaving forever the insane universe of matter and energy, the insane universe of the created forms." Now, the first dream that I had involving UFOs, like I said, this dream happened in 2012. It was nighttime, and I remember I was in this house. I was at home. I must have been at home or whatever. And next thing I know, this lady comes up to me and says, pack your stuff. It's you're going home. And I told her, I was like, well, I'm already home. What are you talking about? And she again said, just get your stuff, just pack your stuff. It's time to go home. You're going home. So I remember going and going to my room, and I remember getting a suitcase, setting it on the bed, and opening my dresser drawers or whatever, and started getting my clothes and everything. And I noticed that there's like some sort of glow coming out of the window. So I remember going over to the window, peeking through the blinds, and there was this gigantic UFO just standing outside, floating. I guess it must have been waiting on me or something like that. And I remember waking up, and that was like the first time I ever had a dream like that. As far as dealing with UFOs. Now the second one, um, I remember waking up, and it literally brought me to tears because it was just that vivid. This particular dream. Now this one, I recall, I was at some sort of festival. I remember it being a lot of people there, and I remember looking up in the sky, and there was this UFO, and I'm telling you, it was like it was just like enormous, like Independence Day big. And what it would do is it would appear, and then it would cloak itself and make it look like the sky and the clouds and everything, and it would appear again. And I remember going over to someone and I'm telling them, hey, look up in the sky. What is that? You don't see that UFO? And I, no matter how many people I went to, and I would wait to this UFO would show itself, and I would tell people to look up, and nobody could see the ship but me. Nobody saw this UFO but me. And I recall a bright light opening up at the bottom of this ship or whatever. And next thing I know, I was just surrounded in this white light or whatever, and I was just floating. There was no gravity or anything. And next thing I know, I was on the ship, and I'm walking around, and I see a lot of people in there, and they're all, everybody's having a good time. Everybody's doing what they want and everything. And um, I remember sitting down, looking out the window, and I'm like, well, what's going on? And somebody had came over to me and was like, hey, just relax. It's time to go. We're leaving. We're going home. And I'm like, well, what about all the people out there that's abusing their power and everything like that? He told me, hey, don't worry about that. They're gonna get theirs. You just sit back and relax. It's time to go home. And I remember they had a food court there, and I remember it was the line really wasn't that long or whatnot, but I noticed that there was no menu, but I saw people in line, going up and walking away with with trays of food and everything. And I remember talking to somebody and approaching somebody that was ahead of me in line. I'm like, well, how do you order food here if it's no menu? And he told me to think about it. And I remember right then and there, I woke up, and I remember it was just so euphoric that I was on the verge of tears. It felt that real, guys, that real. And the last UFO dream I had, it was at nighttime. I was driving, and I had like my sunroof open, or whatever. And I look up, and there's a UFO. And for some odd reason, like I said, I must have been at night or something like that, but it was huge. And I remember driving to someone's house or whatnot, and coming out and everything. And um, I'm knocking on his door, and I'm like, this old couple comes out, and they say, well, hey, can we help you? And I say, well, look up in the sky. Why is that? What is that UFO doing here? And they look up and they see it, and it was like, oh yeah, that's UFO. I mean, they were just casual about it. It was like they weren't even afraid. And they actually told me, okay, yeah, that's a UFO. Why don't you, okay, go up on it? They actually told me to go up on this ship or whatever. So I find it really ironic that I stumbled across these Gnostic fragments, and it talks about the extraterrestrial origins of the spirit. So I really believe those three dreams and everything like that, and the ones I just told you about or whatnot. Those are actually, I believe, what my spirit talking to me, my own internal spirit or whatnot. So the purpose of the whole point of this video is, if you have dreams and whatnot, it might be in your best interest to start um, getting a dream journal and writing down any kind of vivid or special dreams that you have or whatnot, and going online and find out the interpretations of them, because your spirit will have a will talk to you, and reveal to you things, and I guarantee you that. And I wanted to share. There's a book out. It's not even $7. It's called How to Astral Travel, and it's by Orry Whitehead. The first name is Orry, and Whitehead. $6.60. You can find it on Amazon, and it will instruct you how to astral travel. Um, I recommend that you start practicing this, because you'll be able to travel to different dimensions, different time, different areas in time. Hell, you might even get to no, you will get to even communicate and meet with your deceased loved ones. If you have a grandmother, grandfather that you really was dear and close to, you can talk to these people on that plane. So I recommend that you do this, and this is going to conclude this video. Again, the name of this video is Dream Journals, and I bid you farewell. Stay tuned for more.